Welcome to the ISB show, Sahil Rahi, European World Cup qualifiers. And of course, in the little intro, you saw that, of course, is ISB member Ishana in Denmark, where she was watching the Denmark match at a little local watch party in Copenhagen. And boy, did that turn out well, Rahi. We'll talk about that match and others in a second here. Let's start off with that group, the Denmark group, because there was a lot of interesting activity that happened. Here's how things look after the matches. Whoa! There's a team that you may not have expected to see over there, and that, of course, is Scotland, who stunned Greece. And, of course, the Danes dominating Belarus. Rahi, what do we got to say about this? Because, man, oh, man, did we get this group all tangled up.
It's a great day to be Scottish. Let me tell you, I was having a little watch party of my own with my Scottish coworker. He was too nervous, but we found a little corner of the office to watch this game together, and boy, what a day for Scotland. It didn't look like it was going in that direction. It was a strange game. Hampden Park was surprisingly quiet. They were antsy. They were nervous. Greece was dominating possession, and then they take the lead. And when they take the lead, you got to, as a Scottish fan, think this is where it all comes crashing down. This is where the dream dies again, but that's not what happened.
That is not what happened. And I think the word set piece. Now, I know Scotland brought in a set piece coach or something of that sort. And boy, is that guy earned his money, because my goodness, 2 set pieces, 2 goals, and then an absolutely unbelievable error by the Greece goalkeeper. Man, has this guy had 2 horrendous matches for Greece, for the Denmark one and this one. Let's start with Scotland, because let's start with the good, then we'll get to the bad in terms of Greece. What a result for the Scots. And someone told us in the comments, they said, you guys are underestimating Scotland, and they were absolutely right, because the way things sit now, oh boy, do things look different.
Look, this is a Scottish team that can still win the group. They sit even with, yes, Denmark. Denmark's incredible on goal difference, but remember, Denmark still has to come to Hampden Park. So you never know what could happen. This Scottish team is full of talent, right? McTominay, the talisman on this team. But you have to be impressed with the way they fought back into this game after, really, that goal comes at such a terrible time at home in the 60th minute. And you think, are they dead in the water? Instead, they come back out of nowhere, score when they shouldn't, against the run of play. It's a really incredibly resilient performance from the Scots. And they avoid all the history, all the negativity you'd expect. It's the opposite. As my friend put it, this wasn't supposed to happen this way. It felt like it wasn't meant to be. And yet, turns out good for the Scots.
It was unbelievable, that Ryan Christie goal. And you just say, look, it seems like the luck is turning to their side.
Exactly.
Grant Hanley barely onside. You're looking at it. It could have very easily have gone the other way and been like, oh, goal ruled out. And then you think, oh, same old Scotland. But this feels a little bit different. And my, have things changed, right? Let's talk about Greece for a second, because we put out a video just I don't know, maybe a month ago or something like that, right before the qualifier started. We said, this is the new golden generation. All the Greek fans were excited. Young players. We praised the coach, Jovanovic. I think this coach has lost it. Like I don't think he knows what he's doing, because, you saw in this match, he starts with some of the older players, then brings the youngsters in at the end, which was the opposite of what he did against Denmark. I think he's lost. I think the whole team is lost.
He's not sure what to do, but to be honest, I think this moment has arrived too soon for this Greek team. You saw again an immature Greek performance. At times, they were playing good stuff. They were moving the ball. Their possession was nice, but they didn't create that much danger. And then when they did, you have missed chances. I mean, Pavlidis, how do you miss that chance? Just get your foot on the cross, empty net. These are the moments in big games that make such a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
Your goalkeeper, another big error. So it's just this lack of maturity. You can play a decent game, but in the end, you have to find big moments, and they're not finding those. And honestly, I think it's because in many places this team is so young. And
Yeah.
I would hope the manager now just moves forward with the young guys, because I understand it's difficult, but you got to give the young guys the experience. This qualification has come too soon for them, but let them get ready. The next time it comes around, there's so much talent on this Greek team.
100%. So much talent. Speaking of professional performance, Denmark handled the business, right,
Yeah.
against Belarus. The no crowd, of course, in the stadium, but they, Højlund scoring a couple goals, Dorgu scoring. This team is starting to pick up. You saw like where they were at the beginning of qualification. Some people may have had some question marks. They have erased all those question marks. And frankly, they're still the team to beat in this group, despite
Absolutely.
how great of a performance Scotland had.
No. They've been
Yeah.
excellent, and they've been solid, and they've very few questions asked of them. They're really been impressive. This is a solid team. This is a team that's done well over the years. And I think we almost underestimate Denmark, which is interesting, right? They've been a
Yeah.
successful nation, a successful team, but you feel that coming to this group that we underestimated them because they just do things in a very business-like professional manner. And we'll see. There's a big game against Scotland to come, right? And that game will determine, do they qualify automatically, or is Scotland going to have something to say about this still? And it's a huge game. It's very interesting. But at this point, you have to say Denmark are the favorite just because they've just been so professional.
Yeah, so professional. And they have a big match coming up this weekend, of course, the home match against Greece. And of course, if they get that one done, then you're looking at perhaps the collision course between the two teams. I mean, Scotland still has to go to Greece, so
Yeah.
there's still a lot to play for, frankly, in this group, to be honest.
But at this point, you can safely say that second place is almost locked up, and the Greeks are not going to play a part any further. It feels that way. It feels Scotland has basically secured the second spot at least, and it's going to be a fight for first between Denmark and Scotland.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far and say that statement, because I think there's two crucial matches still left for Greece. There's the one that's coming up in Denmark, and then there's the one at home against Scotland. If they are able to somehow get results in both of those matches, this table gets completely turned around.
Yeah, but you have to take at least 4, probably 6 if you're Greece.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to this. So let's show the group, of course, again, saying ISB crew member Ishana had a good night in Copenhagen celebrating with the local Danish fans because they got a lot of goals, 6 goals, in fact, to say that much. So that was just a lot of fun happening in Copenhagen for that particular group. Moving on to the next group. Okay, Rahi, you're wearing the jersey of this team, which is, of course, Croatia. We talked about before the match, what kind of game would this be? And we've seen this from Zlatko Dalic sometimes, and this is what some Croatian fans say. Sometimes he comes out with these setup that looks like Croatia's playing for the draw, and there wasn't much happening here in this match in general. Comfortable enough for Croatia, but nothing really exciting about this particular match.
Nothing exciting, but this is a game, if you're a Croatian fan, you've seen Croatia lose in the past.
Yeah.
Away, against a rival that's tricky, that's talented, right? We've seen them lose over the years to teams like Finland, right? This has happened before. And this is a better Czechia team. And so, honestly, it's a good result for Croatia because at times it looked a little lackluster. They weren't incredibly dominant. In fact, Czechia maybe had more of the possession. It was a bit back and forth. There were some chances. I mean, there were some couple chances Czechia had. Perisic felt like he didn't have his shooting boots on today. A couple times he just blasted over, could have scored a couple goals. So it was a weird game, but in the end, you have to be happy if you're Croatian because you still have the game in hand, tied right now, but you're effectively 3 points clear. And the big thing is look at that goal difference, right?
Yeah.
Look at the goal difference. That's a huge padding. And you've now finished your matches against Czechia. So what remains is relatively easy opponents. With the Croatia, you never know. But you do feel now that once again, we're going to see 40-year-old Luka Modric in a World Cup. It feels like we're getting closer to being able to say that. Another victory or so, and you feel Croatia's there.
Luka Modric was all over the field today. He was just controlling the ball constantly. He's unbelievable. He had a shot there that maybe he should have had a little bit better.
It's weird
with,
to say, but it's weird to say this. He's slightly underrated, right?
Yeah.
Even at this stage, because people talk, and of course they should, Ronaldo, about Messi, and look at what Modric is doing now at this age, playing for AC Milan, and as good as Ronaldo has been, he's not playing in a league like Modric is playing. Messi's not playing in a league like Modric is in, right? And look at what he's doing. It's incredible. He's a lot older than Leo Messi. I'm not making the comparison. I'm not saying in any universe is he a better player than Ronaldo or Messi, but you have to talk about him in that conversation. I mean, at 40 years old, doing what he's doing.
It's unbelievable.
There's so many players that have retired, that have gone by the wayside. You saw him play in the Serie A against Kevin De Bruyne, who is an incredible talent.
Yeah.
But you saw the difference, right? And Modric is older.
Yeah. And there's a beautiful point in this game where he actually he points Guardiola. I love this play where he basically points, he's like, go there. I'm going to put the ball there. And it was a beautiful ball with the, outside of his foot, sending it through. And these are the type of plays he makes. And so, he's the one directing them. And that's what I love about his dynamic with the other Croatian players. They're still like, okay, what do you want us to do? Versus some players are like, hey, put the ball here to me. Luka's like, no, I know where you should go. Put it there. So
it's almost like he looks better. Like, it's weird
sense.
Because watching him now, and I've watched him over the years, he almost looks like this is the best he's playing. It's actually crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. Croatia fans, if everything goes well against, Gibraltar, and if they take care of business against the Faroes, chances are even the toughest match they have left against Montenegro won't matter based on where things sit right now. So I think things are looking good if you're a Croatian fan again. Let's go to that group. Now we're going to finish off with two quick groups that are left. This one, Rahi, with Austria on top, this has taken a turn, quite the turn if you're a Bosnian fan, because my goodness, did Cyprus just help Austria today? We saw the Greeks didn't perform well, but a team that also speaks Greek, Cyprus, came up with a huge late equalizer, which will help the Austrians in the long run.
Yeah, it'll help the Austrians, but let's give Austria a ton of credit, right? They've been excellent. Another team that we've quietly sort of not talked about as much as we should. They've been fantastic. This is a team that presses like crazy, creates a ton of chances. And this is a team that deserves what they've gotten so far. They've been dominant in this group. And yes, earlier you looked at this table maybe a few months ago, you thought, Bosnia sitting top of the group, right? But how quickly things have changed. Yes, Bosnia has slipped up, but credit to Austria. Credit to Austria for playing the way they've played. And they look a favorite, not only just to qualify for the World Cup, but they look a dangerous, tricky team.
Yeah, I always say this. Look, when you play some of the minnows, right? You play the San Marinos of the world and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes the scores get inflated. But when you start getting to the numbers that look like 10, right? It means something. We said the same thing about Norway putting up 11, and we see the same thing about when you start getting to double-digit scores, that is still a big deal, even against some minnows.
Yeah. I mean, Denmark, Austria, right? Norway, these teams are really establishing and showing what they're capable of. These are teams not to be taken lightly. Fast forward into the next summer, be careful. These are all dark horse teams that can make some noise in the World Cup.
Yeah, 100%. So watch out for Austria. The final group, which began here, but the group that we want to show is this group here, which of course has Netherlands, Poland, Finland, Lithuania, Malta. The Netherlands coach, Koeman, has said that they will probably be there. I think it's too early to talk a little bit more about this particular group, Rahi, but all we just want to say is that the Netherlands is still looking good.
Yeah, looking good. And this is the advantage of this qualification the way it is now. The more teams, it's a straightforward group. Unlike Austria, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands is a country that we know can do it at the highest level, right? We know that about Denmark too, but the Netherlands has made it to a World Cup final, right? This is a team that's done so many things. And they look a cut above everyone in this group. Yes, Poland is in and around there as well. But this is a Dutch team that, to be honest, expectations will be high. They haven't quite done what we thought they were capable of. Remember the World Cup in 2022. Remember how close they were to beating Argentina, right? Remember what happened in the Euros. Really not a great result in the end. You thought they could be better. So it's interesting because they're right on the cusp of these sort of favorites, but they're not really in that conversation. Let's see what happens. It's an interesting Dutch team. Can they elevate a bit and be among the best in Europe? Right now, they're right in that second tier, right?
Yeah, so a big match for them against Finland. Let's see if they get that done. All right, everyone, if you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. Day one of the UEFA World Cup qualifying window is in the books. We'll be back with more action as we continue to go through the week. And of course, this day belongs to the Scots, belongs to the Danes, and perhaps through some other ways back and forth, Austria, Croatia, maybe the Netherlands.
Yeah.
You could say all these teams, right? I could tell you it definitely does not belong to Greece or Bosnia, but that's
big day for that second tier of European teams, right? It's a very solid core. Think about a World Cup with Denmark, with Austria, with Croatia, with the Netherlands, right? These are tricky, tough games. If you don't want to play these teams,
you do not want to play these teams. So if you're enjoying these videos, like I said, please subscribe to the channel. We will see you all very soon. Keep watching the beautiful game.